right. We are here again on Bethan TV for Health, and this is Back to Basics. I'm very much delighted in this new year 2024 to all our viewers, our listeners, our followers of this program. You would have chosen to watch another program, but I know at this time you always tune in to Bethan TV for Health, specifically on Back to Basics. I don't take that for granted, and from the bottom of my heart, I must say thank you, and Happy New Year. Very much delighted. Once again, I'm your host, Moses, of Back to Basics. This is the program that takes you back to the basics of what you're supposed to do in order to get things right. It is the most fundamental thing we must all embrace. Getting back to the basics and looking at things from the first principles in the right perspective, and then we get it right from first principles. And that's how we shall have a very good life. We only do it on Bethan TV for Health, specifically on Back to Basics. And that's why this year, 2024, again, we are committed to keep bringing experts, bringing topics that touch our lives. And we shall do this the way we did in 2023. Once again, Happy New Year, and I'm very delighted to have you again on different platforms. Once again, Bethan TV for Health is available for you on GoTV, free to air, and also Star Times. This is a new platform, mainstream, that we've brought on board in order to increase coverage and make sure that you do not miss any of Bethan TV programs. Wherever you are in the country, in our part of Africa or outside, watching live on Bethan TV, either on www.bethantv.ug or streaming live on UTV, that is Bethan Television Uganda, you are all welcome, and we are happy to be with you on this program. Thank you very much once again. And in the studio this Tuesday, I'm delighted to welcome Paul Waluya. Paul Waluya is a clinical psychologist, and in 2023, we've been together discussing different topics especially that improve our mental health. And he has really done a lot. He does this in the community, but he does not stop there. He uses the power of Bethan TV for Health to speak to different audiences and reach out to a bigger audience. And like I always say, if we had many Paul Waluyas in this country, in Africa, I think we would have better lives, because what you're doing, sharing knowledge, is something that is only done by noble hearts.
Sure.
Merry Christmas. Did I do that?
I think we didn't meet at Christmas.
We didn't meet.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I hope you enjoyed your Christmas and you finished all the holiday days and entered into 2024 as fresh as ever.
Sure. I had a very good Christmas. I traveled back to the city, to my hometown.
I know you normally call it the main city.
Yeah, the main city. I traveled back to the main city, and it was just very, very nice, just as it has been always. What difference did it have this time? I so much enjoy Christmas with music. I like so much the Christmas music, Christmas songs, but this time, I don't know that the places I was, whether in the city, the main city, there were not many people who play that music. I really didn't get it so much. And the question is, why didn't I play it for myself? That I don't really have to answer. I don't know why. But I so much like it when I'm moving on the streets. I hear it sound loud.
Wow.
I don't know that it was the same experience you had, but apart from that music that I always enjoy most, other things went on well. I sailed into the year very fine. I enjoy watching fireworks from different corners of the place. Fireworks was all over the city, and I just like that. So it gives me a little difference from the day hours before. Then the fireworks make me think I've now jumped into the new year. That is the only difference, but all the same, it's coming the same that I'm in 2024. But I'm happy to be here again, friends. We are here again to drive 2024 again. Happy New Year to all our viewers. We are happy to have you, and we thank God who has really made it up for us that we are again meeting on the screen and wherever you're watching us from. So happy to be with you again.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Yes.
And talking about the new year and ushering in the new year, people people do different things, engage in different activities and usher in the new year differently. But wherever you were and whatever you did, all the same we are here, and it's the same God that is keeping us alive. Therefore we have at least the common reason to celebrate that we are in 2024. So thank you for bringing out that celebration in the new year and everything. And then you talked about the music and the songs that we played on Christmas, and you said you didn't make that decision to play the songs. And that actually speaks to the topic of the night. Because I have realized that in everything we do, every step we take, it depends on the decisions that we make. So making a decision is actually a kind of a life thing. It's something we can't avoid. That's true. I was talking to a friend about some of the goals we achieved. I said I think I fell short of my goals. The only goals that I achieved are those goals which were out of my control. Things like adding an age, because that's actually a good thing. So whether God keeps you alive and you add there an age, but you realize that in our daily lives we make decisions. Exactly. And they can be very short-term decisions. Things like which shoe should I put on, which shirt can I put on, or a dress or a clothing, to long life decisions. But all the same, all these are decisions, and I think the fact remains that they actually determine how our life will move. And then, ladies and gentlemen, as we start 2024, we found it's very important for us to understand decision making, because I believe this is where the rubber meets the road. Because the decisions that we make, whether short term, medium term or long term, are actually things that would determine the quality of our lives. So it's very important, as we welcome you, as we usher in the 2024 year here on Back to Basics, we get back to basics and we understand decision making, especially the impact decisions have on our mental health. Helped and supported by Paul Walia, definitely we'll go into understanding what do we mean when we talk about decision making, and then how does decision making impact our lives in respect to mental health. That's why we're here, and that's why I welcome Paul.
Thank you so much, Moses. It's a very, very opportune time, like very good time for us to discuss this topic of decisions, because last year, as we're coming to the end, which is just last week anyway,
last few days.
Last few days, you know, that's the joy about this. So, I had a number of people, which I know also you viewers, you must have had this. People say, I take a decision this year. I want to do this year. I want this thing to change, or I want those decisions that we take. Other people took time on the 31st of the year to go to church and write their own decisions in church. This year, I decide to do this. There's one person who told me, this year, actually it was last year, so he was saying, the coming year, I decide to stop taking cigarettes. Now, those are decisions that you're making. The decisions that you're trying to say that are going to drive, you're going to drive on. So decisions or decision making is a process. Actually, I always call it a cognitive process, because it involves processes, or it involves activities of the brain, of the mind. We are going to put the mind onto task. We are going to put our brain into thinking and functioning something. So it's a cognitive process, because thinking is one of the processes that are done in the mind. We think. You know, so when you're making this decision, this person who says, I take a decision to stop taking cigarettes this year. I just don't want to take cigarettes anymore this year. That was a significant example I brought. Others may have decisions. You said people will take decisions. I want to to put on black shoes. I want to put on red shoes. I want to put on a white shirt. Today when I was coming, I had a blue shirt and this color I'm putting on, which I don't even know. So I took a decision on which shirt should I put on. So there are those decisions. All those decisions are coming into us because we've thought about them. We thought about them. 2, what influences also our decision is also what we've gone through.
First, hold on, Paul.
Yes, Moses.
I want to clearly understand.
Yes.
You brought in the term cognitive.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't always want to assume that we all know what cognitive is. That is one. But then secondly, you've brought in the word processes, and you said it's a process.
Yeah.
Decision making is a process. You think about it. But then I remember some of the decisions that you make which are kind of momentary, if I can say, like very immediate decisions. Let me just give this example. You're in the middle of the road, or you're driving. You're driving and you're not actually planning to brake, but then suddenly you see maybe a person or an animal or something that jumps just right before you in, and then you, from nowhere, you just apply the brakes. Does that also involve the processes in the mind? Like, have you thought about it? Help us understand, like, how those decisions, which are quick like that, how they come, different from a decision like, I will stop cigarettes.
Now, there are things that, when I talk of process, okay, sometimes I say, in a factory, I'm just going to use an example of a juice making company. I don't know which juice. Let me use one that is, we drank so much in our childhood, Safi. Someone told me, Tuanyo Safi in the company, Negua. We drank Safi and the company also collapsed. I don't know what that means.
Is it still there? That's what I wanted to ask.
I don't even know.
I don't know, but I know, I remember Safi at least.
So when you're making Safi, or in a juice that has maybe fruits, and the process starts from the time, okay, it may start earlier than what I'm going to start, but let me, for whatever process of time, I'm going to start from the point where you go and collect these fruits, in which you're going to excavate, or you're going to get the juice from. Get these fruits off the trees, wash them, put them into the machine, blend them, whatever there is, blenders or big blenders, I don't know, then add whatever you want to add, either preservatives, either flavors or something, pack them, take them to the market. Now that's a process.
That's a process, yeah.
The process may not be as accurate as a juice making company. Please bear with me because I don't make juice. I'm just only trying to explain something.
Yes.
But that process, if you're talking of the brain, it can go through that thing, but it can go through it in a microsecond. In a microsecond. I don't want to forget that there are other things that are just reflexes. Take an example. If a fly is coming into my eye, I'll not take a decision and say, now I have to do this, I have to do this. Sometimes they're just reflexes. I just already I know.
When you touch a hot object.
I touch a hot object, I may not really wait and say, okay, I have to take the process of, is the heat entering in my brain? What does it, how is it going to affect me? How is it? Then I remove my hand. No. That is also a decision that is taken, but in a microsecond. Actually, we call it a reflex.
A reflex.
You may not even need to involve other things. You just, by the fact that your brain has registered that there is something that is coming that is not in its right way. Take an example, a fly is coming, it's going to cause danger to me. I'll automatically wave my eye to take it away, or I'll close my eyes to block it from coming, or I'll remove my hand from the hot object to avoid burning. No? So they are reflexes. Now the process we're talking about this time is that process where we shall need to think and say, am I doing the right thing or the wrong thing? Now that may be a little bit different. If I'm to say I'm having a process of, I'm going to put on I'm going for a date tonight. It's already late, but I'm just going to give it as an example. I'm going for a date tonight. Which dress should I put on? I may have even prepared it a little earlier. say, okay, since I'm going for a date, I'm going to date with who? I'm going to date with who? I should put on maybe this color yellow, or this color blue, or this color red or green. So I think about it. In the think about it, I'm trying to evaluate, because I know there are things I'm going to involve into my process of thinking that are going to make me come up with a rightful decision. Take an example, the experiences I've gone through. Whenever I go with maybe a red shirt on a date, maybe I don't feel comfortable. Maybe it reminds me of some things. So the experience I've gone through, it hinders me from choosing red to go for a date.
So the experiences you've gone through
Yeah.
influences your decision making.
Yes. The influence of my decision making.
Yeah.
Because it is part of what I've registered in my memory. I want to give an example. If somebody has moved maybe he has been in a place, a war zone, and the experience he got there was so terrible. Now he has been taken either in a place like maybe a place where it's war free. Take an example, Jinja. Now they want to make a transfer again from Jinja to another war place. Don't you think the experiences or the memories of the other war time is going to influence his decision of either accepting to go or refusing?
And that's true. Actually, if you use the jam situation we have, the traffic jam we have in Uganda, have you ever used a shortcut? Like you drive for the first time, like, let me use this shortcut. And you are stuck in jam for more than 2 hours. You will never go back.
I don't.
You keep saying, let me use this main road.
That exact experience. On Saturday. No. It was I think yesterday, Monday. Monday, I had a patient to see at IHK. Now, when I went, I didn't know exactly. I had taken low minus using. I was from Entebbe, I used that Munyonyo route, and only to bump into Munyonyo's area. There are a lot of constructions and all those things. I thought it was going to be quicker because I thought I had about 30 minutes to the time to see the patient. It took me over an hour and a half just to get to the place that I was going to. So the experience I have there, today, if you're telling me to come and maybe go somewhere and I'm going to use the Munyonyo route, I will say no because of the experience I have. You get it? Yes. So that's the thing. So calling it a cognitive process, it involves all those things. We are thinking, we bring our memories into the picture.
Okay.
We bring other perceptions into the picture. We bring other things like our beliefs into the picture in order for me to make a decision. Some people say, we'll make this decision because of the beliefs that they have.
Yes.
For us, as women, we don't do this. As men, we don't do this. Those are beliefs. So we as women who don't do this, they will not take a decision to make what you're telling them to do that is against their belief of women who don't do that. Today, I wanted to bring something about work, but today things have gone, like the way they want. I'm going to bring an example. I have a certain lady back in the city. I have a certain lady who believes that women will never start prayers in the presence of a man. They'll never start prayers. She's Christian. She's good Christian. She prays very well. If you bump into her prayers, you will listen to very good composed prayers for herself. But in the presence of a man, she will never start prayers. So she believes, and when I try to interact with her, she says, in their culture, a woman will never do something in the presence of a man, will never take a lead. That is her belief. It's her belief. So in that, in case there is anything to say, maybe this woman should go and maybe lead or be the head of this something in the present, or be the head of this group that is, or he lead these people who are going to wherever they are going, either for a trip or something, she will back off because maybe men are there, and that is,
and that's the belief.
Exactly. So there are many things that we involve into this picture.
Yeah.
Now, if the things that we are believing, or these memories, these experiences, are not properly handled, they are going to make us make wrong decisions, which is going to affect our way of our processes, our cognitive process. In return, it's affecting our mental health as a whole.
as a whole. Definitely we'll continue and go deeper and understand the relationship, whether it's towards positive mental health and or the negative mental health, which is not good from the knowledge you've been sharing, right? But before that, Paul, I know this is the time.
Yeah.
Or people have already made decisions, I mean, in terms of setting New Year's resolutions or resolutions for the rest of the year. And decision making is one important aspect that can support and help you to set a goal. And but I just want us to highlight some of the, I know there are many and decisions vary from individual to individual, but what are some of the decisions that we can bring out that maybe affects like people's lives in our society?
As you say, there are a number of decisions that people are making. Let's begin from life. I know there are people who have decided to say, I want to marry.
I want to marry.
I want to get a person who is going to accompany me throughout my life. It's a decision someone is making.
Yes.
Now, that decision like that, it's a heavy decision, by the way. It's not something you're going to decide and say, today I'm not going to eat supper, or I'm not going to eat supper. That is something quick. You're going to sort it out tomorrow. If you don't eat supper tonight, if you wake up in the night and you're hungry, you go and get a snack from your fridge and then eat, you know.
Surely.
But this is something that if you're to get it in the right manner, this is a person you're going to live with for a long time. That's a very departmental decision. Other people are deciding to say, I'm quitting job.
Yep.
Some people are deciding to start up their own businesses. Among the many businesses they are seeing, they want to start up maybe one. He has a variety of things he has seen, opportunities he has seen, but he has to check, which one should I take? And I'm taking it, is it going to lead me to progress or something? You know, there are many things. I'm not talking about businesses.
Definitely.
I just want to talk about the mental health aspect. I'm just trying to bring the decisions. Other people are deciding to go. I have a friend of mine who gave me a phone ring on I think, was it Saturday, 31st or Sunday? I don't remember which exact day. I think it was a Sunday, because her beginning note was, I didn't want to end the year without calling you. That was quite good. Claire, I send you greetings. She's called Claire. So that she was trying to say she wants to go back to school. She wants to go back to school. So decisions like, I want to go back to school. No, those are things that we are so, they're decisions that you really have to think about. Others, today there are many people moving out of the country to go work. But he's thinking about, I'm moving out of the country, but I have my family. So he has to take a decision. Should I go or I should stay with my family? There are many things that we are looking at.
Wow.
Even just, some people just think, can I go to hospital to take a blood check or to do a test? Because of what my previous life has been, I don't trust. Some people will take up a decision to go and...
You want to know your status.
You want to know your status.
Definitely, those are some of the important, like we said, there are very many, but those are some of the important decisions that you must employ all your cognitive abilities in order to make the right decision. And like you rightly said before the break, that we will discuss and connect these to our mental health. We shall do that right after the break. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, we are still looking at decision making and our mental health. And we are going to have a very short break with Paul. We'll be back. We appreciate that you're still tuned in to Back to Basics live on Bethan TV for Health. Welcome back from that short break, and we are still discussing decisions. Whether you want it or not, we must make decisions in our lives. It's something we can't do without. And I think what's important is to make the right decisions. And in this studio, this evening, I'm here with Paul discussing connecting decision making to our mental health. Maybe coming from the failure or successes, from the right or wrong decisions. But we are here with a clinical psychologist who, from the expert view or from the expert perspective, is sharing with us. Paul, you've made us understood the whole concept and of decision making, the cognitive and what's involved and what influences and everything. So, and I know most of us, or some of us, let me not generalize, we've made these decisions that have helped us to set goals and resolutions 2023. But I don't know for you, but for me, some resolutions have gone when I have not even achieved 20% of them. And I'm there now in the middle. Should I regret these decisions that I made, or I should embrace them and learn from them? But all the same, that has a bearing on what I think and our mental health. And going back to the topic, how does the decisions we make impact on our mental health?
Thank you, Moses. I don't want to give you a resolution to what your decisions maybe. You can maybe pick them up, you know, yes. when a brick is not well, you can pick it and shape it and put it onto the house. It will seal the hole very well. But you can also use them as a learning point for you to make better decisions next time. I mean, something of that sort. Now, decisions affect our mental health in a number of ways. But before we go to affecting our mental health, let's look at where these decisions, what influences our decisions, we said. You know, we have, I always want to put it into circles. If I drew a circle of Paul, or you, where there is Paul, you can put your name. On this Paul, there are many strings attached to Paul, you know, attached to that thing, which include things or people or societies or organizations that influence our lives. What do I mean? Things that are going to use.
So you said a circle.
If I'm to just say, this glass is Paul, or it is Paul. On this glass, there are many things that are surrounding Paul, that are all pointing at Paul. Okay. Paul, if you did this, they're trying to influence whatever Paul is going to go through or whatever Paul is going to do, your daily activities.
Okay.
What are those things? They may include your family. Do you know some of the families who say, we as the Mwogezas, we don't do things like this. So whatever decision you're going to take that includes the things as the Mwogezas, they will not be accepted. We as Africans, we don't do this. We as Christians, now we have started with family. We go to things like religion. As Christians, we don't do this. So if you want to do something against that, what should I call them? This one of the factors, I should say, around you that are influencing you is going to hinder you from doing that thing that you want to do. Your culture, we as the Basoga, we don't speak like that. We as the Banyankole, we don't do things like that. We as the Baganda, feretukola wetu, you know.
Oh, we do this.
You know. We want to, you don't, I was trying to say something. Someone was telling me that they have a cousin who is so beautiful. But he says, I think, Abaganda, it's kind of a distant relationship, but of course in Uganda there is that you don't marry this.
Yes, one thing,
you don't.
It's the same.
So culture is influencing his decision to approach the beautiful queen, the beautiful girl, you know.
That you would have gotten,
you know.
Approach, yes.
So culture, education level, we as me who is having a degree or something, I don't do this. Or I do this, or I do things in this way. It's directly or indirectly influencing you, you know. Other people, it is just their career. As a reverend, I don't have to do this. How will my sheep look at me?
Definitely.
As a doctor, I don't have to speak this way. As a lawyer, I don't have, you know, all those things, they influence my decisions.
That's true.
Are you seeing all those attachments?
Yes.
I may not mention all because there are many.
There are many.
And I may have a limited scope. But
So we can say economical, social, psychological.
exactly, you termed them well.
I wanted to bring in political.
Political, yes. I've seen someone who says,
I can't put on this color.
I can't put on this color. Can you imagine how is the color connected
As a
to your
supporter.
ideas of your political? I don't want to go there, but
Yes, I also
that is
don't
the
want
thing,
to go
you know.
there.
How is the
But I
color?
think it's a common thing.
It's a common thing.
Because me, I have my uncle who it was our wedding and not a wedding, a party at home, and one of my uncles is a staunch supporter of a certain
Party.
and he's the head of the clan, and he was actually very tough on my sister because my sister had put on a different color, but it was a very nice dress.
Can you imagine?
And I was like, but it was an issue. It was an issue. I can't be here. I can't see you. You need to change. And then we're like, but I mean,
You see?
And for my sister choosing that, there was nothing attached to
Exactly.
It was,
she only wanted
yes,
the beauty of the dress. And
yeah.
herself. I mean, she was going to look beautiful. If you, the bride, you saw your sister looking beautiful, that means about the other people who had not even gotten
Yeah.
So something of that.
So imagine that person is maybe taking care of you.
Exactly.
You end up removing the dress.
She will not buy. You don't give you the money to buy it.
If you know there's fees that is supposed to come.
Aha. You not. So your influence. So there are many factors. So these factors, of course, that's the beginning of the mental health issue. Conflict. I'm conflicting. Conflict is not bad, but the way we handle that conflict. Many of these things have come because we've taken a decision that is against one of these factors. All of the things, in a home, we as maybe the Baganda, we don't do this, and then you find that if you go against this, it's going to lead you into mental health issue. And if you go, you say, let me just follow, it's still going to lead you into this. Now, what do you have to do is to, first of all, analyze what is the best thing for you, first of all. Look at yourself as an individual. Look at me as an individual. Paul, I want to put on yellow as a color, but maybe I want to put on a particular color, but maybe my political party is of a different color. What is wrong with me putting on a color that is not of my political party? What is wrong with that?
Can you put on a Man U jersey?
Yeah, I can put it on. If they want it for me, I can. I can put on Man U, I can put on Arsenal and Liverpool, by the way. I would put on anything.
But there are some people, even if it's the only clothing available, they would rather be
without a cloth.
Bare, yes.
Now that you're going to a little bit far onto the extreme, you're going to the extreme. We should always put in our mind that these are only things that are supporting us to live well. So if you're getting the only flour that is remaining, like who is that in the Bible? Say, give it to me, and remain with something without anything. I think that will not really work out well for you. No? But what we have to do is all these factors put into consideration, all these that are surrounding me, that are influencing me. Help yourself, first of all, say, without these factors, what decision would I have made? That's where I always begin from. Without all these things that are pulling me to think like they want to think, all these factors are just trying to say, think like we are thinking. Look at the religion. If the religion, what things can they say? Christians will say, for us, we don't marry more than one wife. So they are pulling me to think like they think. What else? Maybe I want to go a little bit political, let me say, elites, for us, we don't speak. We always use English in official duties. So they want you to use English because they want you to do and think like they think. You get? Which other factor there is? Families.
Family.
For us in this family, we don't, what do they do? What is common with families? Moses, you have a family.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't take students to, or we don't take children to such a level of a school, So they want you to think like they think. But in the absence of those people, what is your thought?
So you hold other constant and factors, other factors constant, and as if they are not, you assume that they are not affecting you, and then you ask yourself, what what's that decision that I should be making.
That is the thing.
Is it an easy thing to do?
It's not an easy thing to do because, I always want to bring it in the fact that these factors will influence you to think like they want you to think or like they think. But it's not all negative that they are going to give you. Because whenever I teach this, some people say, okay, now we are going to go stop listening to those people. No, listen to them. Many times it's you, whatever they speak, you make an evaluation. Make an evaluation before you take a decision. Someone will say, I want to kill myself, so why do they refuse me? It's a decision I'm making.
It's a decision I'm making.
Yeah, it's a decision I'm making. But there are things that you have to look at. Why are they saying that? Do they have a defense on why they're saying what they're saying? You're saying something. And
no, I wanted to give you an example of some of the decisions that you make, and maybe you, and someone has not thought about them, and so there's this strong Arsenal supporter in Rukunjiri, and he baptized his child Van Persie. Now, the following year, Van Persie was sold to Manchester.
And he's against Manchester, automatically.
Yes. He's a very strong, a fanatic, if I can use the word. Now the child is already having the name, baptized in church, like this name has been Van Persie.
Yeah.
And there's when we're discussing with friends, and then we remember that person. It was like some of the decisions someone makes without looking at other things surrounding that decision, and then you end up regretting. Now the child was Van Persie, and now Van Persie is in Manchester United. So
and the other day Van Persie will be in another team,
be in another team.
Maybe another time he will also decide to leave Arsenal and he will be supporting something else,
Maybe.
So those are the things I said. We should take our stand, but then before you say I'm taking up this conclusion to take this decision, look at why are these people saying whatever they're saying? Why are all these factors pointing at this issue? Because they're very important. Sometimes they also help us have the outside eyes or vision of what we are doing. They help us to see. But then that sight shouldn't make you make a decision, but it should help
based on them.
Yeah, based on them. Should help you modify
so you shouldn't
decision.
Ignore them completely, however much you want to take an independent decision.
Exactly.
But you should listen and ask very many whys. Why are they?
And try to get answers to those whys. Try to get answers to those whys. Whenever we don't get the answers to those whys, we are bound to get a regret. Whenever you get an answer to the why, it doesn't mean that, well, since I get this answer, then I should take it. No. First of all, get the answer to the why questions. When you get the answer to the why questions, it's going to help you get a basis on which you're going to make your decision from. But if you take a decision without getting answers to the why questions, those answers to the why questions may come as consequences later.
Which
then it sends you into regret. Now, whenever you go to regret, many times there are things that we've taken we cannot make a reverse. Now, we don't make a reverse, pile of many thoughts, regrets. Where is it pushing you? Those are all negative things, thoughts pushing you into depression, into sadness. And of course, because that the decision you took is permanent, it's going to lead you into a continuous, vicious regret, which is going to get you into depression.
Into a depression.
And then you're going to learn something. But it was just so quick, easy for you to say, I'm going to answer the why questions. I'm going to give myself time. That's why you see people say, give me time. Let me sleep over it before I can take that decision. Give me time to take that decision. I like organizations. They go for a retreat before they take up a decision. To either sell the organization, to either amalgamate with another organization, either to do many things in the organization. They will take a retreat, whereby we can also do the same thing. You can decide to give yourself time before you can take up that decision. It is very important. It's not a reflex. It's not a reflex. But whenever you do something in a rush, we are bound to make mistakes. Those mistakes are going to lead us into problems. The regrets which bring sadness, conditions. Exactly.
And definitely the reoccurrence of those, they lead us to that state that we would not want to be in.
Exactly.
And that's depression.
Another thing that people make, there sometimes we make what we call wrong thinkings or mistakes in the thinking. In the other side, we call them the cognitive distortions. We make the kind of, we think the wrong way. Take an example. Someone can decide to generalize. Generalize. You generalize something that has happened once. You're like, always men are like that. Always women are like that. I know women are like this because, or I know people from that place are like that. Or I know people of this color, dark-skinned people like Paul, will never work in offices. I mean, I'm just giving an example. So you find that we are going to make wrong decisions, or we are going to make mistakes in making decisions because of the generalization.
That's a fallacy, right?
A fallacy, a cognitive distortion.
Okay.
We are thinking wrongly. It's a mistake in the thinking. Other people just have that kind of persistent negativity in whatever they think. You tell them, okay, let's take this year I started. Okay, I just enjoy some of the decisions that the series make every year. You know, this year I want a year of change. It's a year of change. Many pastors do that to encourage us. It's a year of change. Now, a year of change, I want to start up a business. But you say, whenever anybody in our family starts up a business, it fails. How about you? You are an individual. Why are you taking up everybody's, experience to be your experience? You know, whenever everybody decides to go go abroad for studies, they come back unsuccessful. Maybe there are mistakes they're doing their studies outside. So why don't you take up and try it out? So other people have those, whenever you bring something onto them, they're going to think negative about them. You're going to think wrong about them. There are many things that we think, mistakes we do in the thinking process.
Because of that generalization.
Because of the generalization.
And I think in culture we see a lot of these things happening, where they say you'll find in some families, girls in that family do not marry.
Yeah,
but actually sometimes you find they are not successful in marriage.
Now, sometimes it is, we say, like you said, that's a very good common thing. Girls of that family never marry or never sustain marriages.
Yeah.
But maybe what is the question is, and I will come in the why questions. Why don't they sustain their marriages? What problem is there that they're not sustaining their marriages? Before you can conclude that, okay, since girls in this family never sustain their marriages, I'm also not going to marry because I'm just wasting my time. I'm going to go there. After 3 months, I come back home. The thing is, ask yourself, why are they not sustaining their marriages? It could be their behavior. It could be their character. It could be their hygiene. It could be their, whatever is not proper in their marriage.
But there is something.
There is something, which maybe you may not have. And then you're hindering yourself from a beautiful companion who is going to give you that kind of companionship, and you're going to sprout and be there. Moses, so it is that we can really look at.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting. Yeah. I know we can go on and on and on and on, because understanding decisions that we make is it's something very fundamental. Yeah. I believe someone that is listening to us is picking something, especially knowing that there are factors, there are things that are pointing on you that can influence your decision. And what I've liked is, it's not about only ignoring them, but listening and answering the why. The why until you exhaust the whys.
Actually, I always give this as an expansion. I always say, start a chain of why questions. And ask the why questions until you find there is no any other why question you're going to ask. I can begin with this example of marriage. Maybe it's something that God has brought up, because many girls, when they're praying, that is something. Why is so and so, or why are these people not, why are we not sustaining marriages? Because maybe this and this and this and this. Then you ask why for that question, for that answer you've given. Then a why for the question, for the answer you've given. Then a why for the answer you've given. You make a chain. I always call it a chain of why questions. I don't know how long your chain can be, but whenever you feel you're satisfied with the chain of why questions, then at that point take a breath and say, this last bit, or the last answer to the why question, is the reason to why these are not getting married. It's not that we don't get married. No, no, no. It's the reason why these people are not getting married. So for you, do you still have the vice? Do you still have that character? Do you still have that something that is making them not get married? If you don't have it, then go and get married. You will find that you're different from them.
You find you're different from
If
them.
you have it, then change it before you get married. You know, something of that sort. So please always have that chain of why questions and do. I would have loved to go much into the mistakes or the cognitive distortions, but we can get another time where I can come and explain the cognitive distortions, because those are very, very key in making us make wrong decisions.
Yes, I just want to bring in one more last issue, and I know it's a common influencer, if I can use the word, as we try to conclude. It's the common factor that influences most of our decision making, and that is the past experience or the experiences we've gone through. And I want specifically take inference from the resolutions that we've made, for example, in 2023. And then you find now in making the new resolutions for 2024, because of that experience, which you've already explained, some people are saying we can't again kind of make that resolution because of what we've gone through. The resolution we've been making has not been kind of getting successful, and instead of learning from it and maybe making amendments, and then you continue, people tend to ignore completely and set a very new, different resolution. So from a psychological perspective, how do we support most of us who are trying, who would want to ignore now those resolutions because for the warrior we've not met them, and yet they may still be important. But then because of that experience that you've shared, how do we kind of get back to reality and understand that stuff happens?
Yeah. Yep. First of all, I want us to go back to the why questions, first of all, in order to give us the reason why these resolutions have not been met or have not happened. So whenever we get to those resolutions, the answers why those resolutions have not happened, then let's try to correct. Now, psychologically, whenever you find that there is an answer to the unknown, we get calm, we lower our anxiety, and get ready now to work. Psychologically, take an example. If I'm going to begin it from whatever, if you don't know that, you don't know why there is, you don't know the voice behind our chairs, you get anxious. But if you know it's Paul talking, then oh, it's okay, now I can continue.
That's Paul.
So that's Paul, you can continue. So the same thing, the same mind knowledge, bring it to our things. If you don't know why you're failing, always you're going to get anxious. Why am I failing? If it's in class, why am I failing? Always. I've said it, this year I'm going to perform very well for students. I'm going to perform very well in physics, but you find that the same thing is coming and you're failing. So why are you failing? So the beginning point is knowing why that thing is happening. Why am I not marrying? Why am I not? I'm moving from one place to another. I'm just giving birth to children like litter. From one district to another district, or from one culture, northwest, and everybody. You're not settling. So first of all, go and ask why. Because if you don't ask why, it's going to cause us a mental health issue. Me, I'm cursed. You're not cursed. And whenever we feel you're cursed, you're going to feel that is, we are cursed. Yes, it's not a curse. It is something that you just need to resolve. Now, putting it in your mind that you're cursed, many times it's going to make you go in a certain fix, and you never do things well because you feel or you think you're cursed. You've locked, actually it's a lock, you put yourself in a box somewhere that, for me, I'm cursed. I'm only going to give birth to children, but I'll never settle in marriage. Or I'm always just going to go into different classes, but I'll never get a degree. I'll always just visit.
Or if it's at work and your year's resolution was I'm working towards promotion.
Yes.
And you're not promoted, you lock yourself now as
you lock yourself, and
that
victim
victim
is how
mode.
You're thinking. That's how you're thinking. So you're like, me, I'll never be promoted. I'm always just going to work. And many times, whenever we believe this wrong thinking, it's a basis of now everything you're going to do. Everything you're going to work is going to be based on this belief. at work.
Yep.
Me, I'll never be promoted. So I can come at work at 10, yet we're supposed to begin work at 8. Or I can leave work at 1, yet I'm supposed to leave at 5. Or I can start maybe bringing production of maybe 30%, yet I'm supposed to bring 60, So your production is like that. You're not prospering, which is going to also cause. Now, that is not only affecting you, but it's affecting your mental health, but also the surrounding. Take an example, your other colleagues, workmates, your bosses. There are many people who are involved in this circle that is being affected by the rotten tomato.
Okay. Thank you very much, Paul. As you sign out, by any standards, what is, you can mention just one, what is a wrong decision one will ever make? I know they are dependent, but there's that one, at least there are those decisions where you say, no, that's a wrong decision by any standards. What do you think from the perspective as you sign out? As
I sign out, as you say, there are many. I'm just going to say a wrong decision is a decision that is made without thinking about it.
Wow.
A wrong decision is a decision that is made without thinking about it, and it gives you negative results. It can bring you positive, but it's not a decision. Maybe you just bumped into it.
Yeah.
But a decision that is made without thinking about it is a wrong decision. So please, friends, as we sign out today, it's the beginning of the year, and 2024 is also a year of energy. I just know we should begin on an energetic point that the decisions you made in church, in your dance hall, in wherever you were on the 31st should be a decision. It's not bad to come and revisit it and maybe say, I'm changing. I hope I've decided to say, I'm going to give birth this year. You've decided. So is that decision, how is it influenced? So please, friends, I know many people are affected by these decisions, and maybe what you've done has already been a challenge. I always don't want to forget. Reach out to us. We are going to be of help. If you can't get to us, go to any place. If you can't get to them, you can give me a phone ring. I always leave my number, 0705 23 99 98. Basically, we shall move with 2024 and meet again on the last day of 2024. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Paul. Starting 2024 with understanding decisions that you make and asking the why did the other one fail? Why did the other one succeed? Definitely is the key to making very good decisions as we keep our mental health very positive. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
And to all our viewers and listeners, again, Happy New Year from us, Back to Basics and Bethan TV for Health. Cheers. See you next time.